From the largest mammals to the tiniest insect, wildlife photographers are on a quest to reveal the wonders of the natural world. Without insects, the planet would grind to a halt. They're infinitely varied and adaptable, yet most of us never appreciate their beauty or importance. Japanese wildlife cameraman Satoshi Kuribayashi is an exception. He has always been fascinated by insects. Satoshi is heading for the remote rainforests of Malaysia in search of some of the world's most spectacular insects. He believes in getting close to his tiny subjects. The rainforests of Malaysia aren't for the faint-hearted. But nothing will deter Satoshi in his quest to film some of the most bizarre and beautiful creatures on the planet. His ultimate dream is to find the elusive golden stag beetle. Satoshi was born in Nagasaki, Japan, and from an early age was fascinated by the small creatures that surrounded him. His goal is to film insects from their level, viewing the world through their eyes. He believes we shouldn't only look at nature from the human perspective. Satoshi has been filming insects across the globe for over 30 years. His images give a unique sense of the insect's point of view. Working in his studio, Satoshi creates lenses that are specially adapted to film the smallest insect. He carefully mounts the individual elements to create the final macro lens. There's no room for error. This macro lens will enable Satoshi to obtain intimate images of his tiny subjects. Using a lathe, he modifies a compact high-definition camera to receive his own lenses. Many years of experience have enabled him to work out exactly what will give the best close-up image of the insect, while keeping the background in focus too. He hopes this camera will give a unique view of the insect life of the Malaysian rainforests. Satoshi's dream is to film one particular beetle species.
マレーシアのジャングルにいる
What I want to film are tropical stag beetles. More than 50 species of stag beetle live in the Malaysian rainforests. Above all, I would like to film the golden stag beetle. I would love to see one. The golden stag beetle is so elusive that its detailed biology is still a mystery. But there are many other rare and beautiful creatures living in the depths of the rainforest. These include Raja Brooks birdwing, one of the largest butterflies in Asia, and perfectly camouflaged leaf insects. The Malaysian rainforests are teeming with extraordinary creatures. Malaysia was once entirely covered by tropical rainforest. Now, only half these forests remain. Satoshi is heading for a remote village deep in the forest. This is the first time he has made a full-scale film trip to the rainforests of Southeast Asia. To achieve his goal, he'll need the help and detailed knowledge of local people. These villagers grow a few crops, but also rely on the forest for their livelihood. Their knowledge of the plants and wildlife that surround them means that they sometimes catch insects to sell to the tourists and collectors to supplement their income. For many common species, this does little harm. But for some of the rarest species, overcollecting is becoming a threat to their survival throughout the tropics. Large insects are collected by villagers using handmade nets and sold as souvenirs. This time, the villagers' intimate knowledge is being put to good use. They'll help Satoshi in his quest to find and film some of the more elusive insects. Many tropical trees are giants, over 50 meters tall. The forest floor is dark, and most of the action takes place high up in the canopy, where the trees compete for light. Many rainforest insects are found high up in the upper branches. Local people know that when these white flowers bloom in the tree canopy, they often attract beautiful longhorn beetles to feed on the pollen. In return for this free meal, the beetles pollinate the flowers. The antennae of these beetles are almost as long as their body. Many of the plants they feed on are toxic, and the poisons accumulate in their bodies. Their bright colors warn predators that they are noxious and should be avoided. Satoshi also begins to look for insects, though these are closer to the ground. He comes across a blister beetle. The body fluids of these beetles contain cantharidin, a substance so toxic that mere skin contact can cause severe blisters. This shield bug is called a man-face stink bug because of its striking resemblance to a human face. One of the most beautiful insects is the golden tortoise beetle. The iridescent gold color is an optical illusion. It's created by light reflected in a layer of liquid beneath the transparent outer cuticle. The tortoise-shaped carapace also serves as a protective shield when the beetles are feeding on leaves. While many rainforest insects are brightly colored to warn predators to stay away, others adopt a different survival strategy. These remarkable insects mimic vegetation in order to hide from predators. This is a giant phasmid, or stick insect. These nocturnal insects remain motionless during the day, holding their forelegs straight out in front of them to imitate twigs and branches. They're even able to change color from green to brown, depending on the color of vegetation. This giant insect almost covers my face. I'm amazed at the variety of insects we've already encountered in the rainforest. Satoshi soon comes across another plant mimic. A praying mantis, which resembles a dead leaf on the forest floor. This master of disguise isn't hiding from predators. Those forelegs will lash out to grasp any unsuspecting victim which strays too close. Here, the texture of a dead leaf is perfectly replicated. Even from only a few centimeters away, it's hard to believe this is a living insect. Birds are quick to learn the search image of their prey, so any camouflage has to be almost perfect. Budao, a local villager, has agreed to take Satoshi to a place where he's discovered one of the most extraordinary insects in the rainforest. They gather on a giant leguminous sriracha tree called klat by the locals. They sometimes hide beneath the leaves, but their camouflage is so good that it can be difficult to spot them even when they're sitting on a leaf surface. Even local people take a while to find them, as they're almost identical to the leaves in color and texture. It's really hard to find these insects. I'm sure they're here, but I can't see them. At last, I found one. It was so beautifully camouflaged, it looks exactly like a leaf. This is probably one of the greatest mimics of all, the walking leaf insect, Phyllium pulchrifolium. Its underside even imitates the leaf surface in every detail, such as patches of mildew, blemishes, and even the pattern of veins.
すごいな、このなんか斑が入ってるみたいな模様まで同じだもんね。なるほどね。だからこれ裏について裏だと思う、この葉っぱの裏と本当同じだもんね。似てるもんね。うん。葉脈までついてて。おい、こんにちは。
I have wanted to see this insect for a long time.
すごいな、この半ムチを絶対見たかったんだな。うん。
Budo has found some immature leaf insects, which are disguised just as well as their parents. Even the eggs of leaf insects resemble tiny plant seeds.
あ、幼虫だ、幼虫。まだ羽がない。これ。
Reproduction is extremely slow. Some leaf insect nymphs take several months to reach adulthood.
そっくりだね。すごいね、まったく。うん。ああ、これはもう全くわからないね。
Leaf insects often hang motionless from the underside of a leaf for days at a time. This is Satoshi's unique view of the leaf insect using a specially designed lens.
木の葉そのもの。
Females can't fly and rely entirely on camouflage for their protection from birds. Satoshi is excited that at last he has found one of the insects of the Malaysian rainforest that has fascinated him for years. It isn't only insects that use camouflage. Mammals, such as this flying lemur, are perfectly camouflaged when resting against the bark of a tree. When threatened, they will leap off the trunk and slowly glide down to the lower branches of a neighboring tree, stretching the thin membranes attached to their legs as a parachute. Deception is everywhere. Even this frog resembles a dead leaf. The rainforest is a hothouse, which has allowed numerous bizarre insects to evolve. This beautiful iridescent sagra beetle has evolved powerful hind legs like a frog, which allow it to leap vast distances. It's not surprising it's sometimes called a kangaroo beetle. It's no wonder that the British naturalist J.B.S. Haldane, when asked what his studies revealed about God, replied, "An inordinate fondness of beetles." This giant weevil, Certotrachelus, has evolved long forelegs that are believed to come into their own when competing with other males over females. These weevils often feed on bamboo, and some species may cause damage to crops. Many beetles are highly specialized and appear quite bizarre, This one, Eutraculus, appears to have a pair of pincers at the end of its exceptionally long head. The precise purpose of many of these adaptations remains a mystery. The Malaysian rainforest is home to the largest butterfly in Asia, Raja Brooks birdwing. The villagers are taking Satoshi to a place where many birdwings congregate, deep in the forest. Countless streams flow down the mountainous terrain as the forested slopes become sponges for water in the rainy season.
これ渡るんだね。よし、分かったもう。このまま行っちゃうよもう。
At least the water's warm in the tropics. Strange creatures even lurk on the forest path itself.
いやー、大きなヤスデがいるよ、ほら。すごいね、これ。
This is a giant millipede.
いやー、何もかもやっぱり大きいね。
Millipedes appear to have thousands of legs. In reality, the average number is about 200, 2 per body segment. If attacked, they coil into a tight spiral or secrete irritating substances from glands in their skin. They can live for as long as 7 years. This brightly striped creature is a land planarian. These primitive invertebrates only emerge from beneath damp stones or rocks after rain. At night, they feed on slugs or insect larvae. In his quest to film Raja Brooks birdwing butterflies, Satoshi is trekking deep into forest which has had little disturbance from humans.
わあ、川が出てきた。いやー、いいでも川が流れてるね。
These butterflies are usually found along the sandy banks of rivers and streams. The guide shows Satoshi the rocky riverbank where the birdwings gather.
あそこにはすごい。うわー、いっぱいいるわ。
At last, we have found the Raja Brooks birdwing.
何十匹も集まってる。いやー、僕初めてですよ。人が写した写真なんかでは見たことあるんだけど。
The birdwing is named after the 19th century Englishman James Brooke, who became the first white Raja of Sarawak. Local people used to believe that the butterfly contained the soul of the white Raja and must not be harmed.
望遠レンズならいいけど、僕の後ろ目レンズで果たして肉薄できるかという。
Satoshi is keen to get closer to film the insects with his macro lens. Illegal logging has a direct impact on these butterflies, as the loss of tree cover around rivers may cause them to dry up. The striking male butterflies gather in large groups of up to 80 to drink from stream banks, puddles, and hot springs. Unlike these gaudy males, the females are secretive and elusive. One of the greatest threats to these beautiful butterflies isn't insect smuggling, but the destruction of the habitat. Females seek out only one or two species of poisonous vines as food plants vital for the survival of their larvae. As destruction of the rainforest continues across Southeast Asia, these vines are becoming increasingly hard to find. Newly emerged males need to drink mineral-rich water before seeking out females and mating with them. Satoshi is determined to film the behavior of these magnificent males in detail. Adult birdwings feed on nectar from flowering trees high up in the forest canopy. Satoshi's lens reveals how, holding their wings aloft, the males drink vast quantities of water, absorbing essential potassium and sodium ions. Then they excrete the excess water in small jets or droplets from their abdomen. Some of the most beautiful species of insect inhabiting the rainforests of Southeast Asia are now on the endangered species list. Poor local people are often hired to collect insects, and the middlemen pay them meager sums for each specimen, which are then sold to collectors across the globe. The Raja Brooks butterfly is protected by the Malaysian government, which has chosen it as its national emblem. I'm thrilled that I managed to film the elusive Raja Brooks birdwing, as I've longed to see these beautiful butterflies for many years. Satoshi is now leaving the lowland rainforest for higher ground. He is still determined to achieve his final goal, filming the jewel-like golden stag beetle. These beetles inhabit high mountain forests. The Cameron Highlands were once cloaked in trees. The town of Tanah Rata lies at a height of 1,600 meters. This tea station was built by the British in colonial times. Vast tracts of forest were felled to create tea plantations. As dusk falls, Satoshi decides to use a light trap to try to attract the golden stag beetle. Many insects find the bright light irresistible. Moths are the first insects to be attracted to the reflective white sheet.
なんだなんだおお飛んでる飛んでる
Soon, the first beetle arrives, but it flies off into the vegetation.
なんだろう
Satoshi is curious to find out what species it might be.
あこれコーカサスでしょすごいなオスの大きいやつこんなとこにいたいやー立派なオスだよこれ
It's a huge three-horned rhinoceros beetle, Chalcosima chiron. These beetles can deliver a painful nip with their powerful jaws. This giant 13-centimeter-long beetle is one of the largest in Asia.
いやー夜は元気だこいつはやっぱりこれ夜行性なんだろうね
Out of the many hundreds of species of beetle that have been identified across the globe, by far the largest and most impressive are found in the tropics.
あなんだこれ
More beetles have been attracted to the light trap. Stag beetles in particular are drawn to any form of artificial light, even street lights in the nearby town. This beautiful stag beetle has a pale outer wing case.
後ろのこのさやばれの色がいやーかっこいいやつだなこれはこれ別の
Satoshi spots a closely related species which is
これ
striped.
本当にすごいすごいまあいろんなやつが来る裏行っちゃったのかな
The Malaysian rainforest contains some of the most impressive beetles in the world.
あこれのクワガタがいたこれツヤクワガタと違うあこれすごいなこのクワガタのクワの形
All these beetles are males. The impressive structures which resemble the antlers of a deer are actually the beetle's mandibles.
これが二股クワガタってやつだすごいな
Males use them for fighting other males when competing for females.
これまたすごい変わった形を
In some of these tropical stag beetles, the jaws are as long as the body of the beetle, as much as 10 centimeters long.
鹿の角みたいな形をしてるね形の珍奇さから言ったらピカイチじゃないかなこのクワガタいやー飽きないねこれほんと次々に
This one's a female. Compared to the male's dramatic mandibles, females have much smaller jaws, which they use to dig holes in rotting wood when laying their eggs. Surprisingly, the female's shorter jaws are capable of delivering a much stronger bite than the male. Some beetles certainly seem to be quite fearless. This male giant rhinoceros beetle has decided that Satoshi's camera is an unwelcome intruder, possibly even mistaking it for another male, and is trying his best to force the lens off the log with powerful thrusts of his whole body.
おいおいおおすごいすげえすげえ
A craze for beetle wrestling is sweeping Japan as children across the country are breeding beetles and staging fighting contests. Satoshi has decided to film his own wrestling match of the beetles right in the middle of the rainforest. Beetle wrestling isn't new. Middle-aged Japanese men are rediscovering a nostalgia for childhood spent collecting beetles and staging fighting contests. The first contestants in the rainforest match are two three-horned rhinoceros beetles. The beetles contend head to head and try to overturn their opponent. Japan has around 80 native stag beetles, but none are as large as some of the stag beetles found in Southeast Asia, such as this Dorcas titanus, whose jaws are over 5 centimeters wide. Every species of beetle has slightly different shaped mandibles or horns. In these two closely related rhinoceros beetles, Chalcosoma atlas and Chalcosoma charon, only Chalcosoma charon has a central horn. Now, Chalcosoma atlas is pitched against Dorcas titanus, a stag beetle with its mighty jaws. The outcome is predictable, as Dorcas sweeps Chalcosoma off the log in one move. Importing and breeding foreign stag beetles is now big business, with some rare specimens changing hands for several $1,000s. In Japan, pet stag beetles are well cared for and may live longer in captivity than they do in the wild. Satoshi has just heard that a local villager is willing to take him to find the elusive golden stag beetle. The remote village can only be reached by a rough dirt track through the forest. The villager, Ragus, knows the forest well. He agrees to take Satoshi to one of the few places where he might be lucky enough to see a golden stag beetle in the wild. Once again, Satoshi is making a trek through dense rainforest. They walk through a bamboo glade and emerge in front of a tall tree. Satoshi notices that the trunk of the tree is stained by dark sap, which seems to be seeping from wounds in the bark. Adult stag beetles feed on nectar and tree sap. They're usually most active at dusk or at night.
なんかいる？うん。なんだったかな。え、なんかいる？あ、don't touch.
Satoshi's dream may be about to come true. The guides point to something shining on the bark, a golden stag beetle.
このオニクワガタは樹液に来てる。ほら。すごいな。ん？ スもいる。メスをカバーしてる。
There appear to be two beetles, a male and a female.
わあ、綺麗だな。しかしすごいね。
It's now clear why this is called the golden stag beetle. Even the mandibles look as though they have been fashioned from beaten metal.
メスをね、完全に体でカバーしてる。いやー、樹液に生きてるのを見つけるなんてすごいね、これ。
Only the male has the enlarged horn-like mandibles.
こんな色どうしてなるんだろう。色もさることながら
It's fantastic. The golden stag beetles are gathering to suck the sap. The male is lying over the female, protecting her. I have seen similar behavior in stag beetles in Japan.
熱帯雨林のこういう木の樹液を吸ってるわけだ。
Satoshi is curious about the sap that the beetles are feeding on.
あっちこっちから出てるこの木は。
He tastes it to try to find out what attracts the beetles.
特に味ってのはないか
It doesn't have much taste, and there's no smell. It's different from the sap that oozes from an oak tree in Japan.
ら。日本のクヌギの木から出る樹液とはちょっと違うみたい。木の名前は何ですか？
What is the name of this tree?
レモン。レモン。
Local people call it lamoy.
このオオガオニクワガタというのは
This tree is a close relative of Lithocarpus edulis, a species of evergreen oak which is also native to Japan.
他の木に来ない。あ
Satoshi is curious to know whether the beetles visit any other trees to feed on their sap. The villagers say that they have only seen them feeding on the sap from this one tree. Satoshi has been fascinated by the diversity of insects he has seen in the rainforest.
昆虫たちはこの森の中で
Tropical rainforest insects have evolved numerous bizarre strategies for survival.
形や色を身にまとい
Some are flamboyant and brightly colored.
生き延びるための作戦を
Others rely on perfect camouflage for their protection.
僕はその様子を実際にこの目で見ながら驚きと感動の毎日を過ごしました。
I have only seen a few of the countless wonderful and unique insects that live in the tropical rainforest. There is so much more to see.
でそういう中でこれからもしできるならばそれぞれの昆虫についてのですねもう少しの知識を高めながら
I want to bring the intriguing lives of these tiny creatures to viewers who may never be lucky enough to see a tropical rainforest for themselves. I want to show them the lives of these insects face to face. Satoshi's dream is to use his unique lens to reveal the intimate lives of these beautiful and bizarre rainforest insects from their point of view.